Hello Rovers fans and welcome to this Arriva Trains Eastern Group qualifying clash between Hulkingston Rovers and Featherstone Rovers. Rovers coach Steve Linnane forced into one or two changes from the Siddle clash from last week. Dean Andrews is on the injured list, as is Craig Murdoch. There's a positional change for Paul Parker, who moves to standoff. Linton Stott fits in the centres, and Mike Hall replaces the injured Craig Poucher at fullback.
We thank you to our valuable sponsors this year. The main sponsor of 2003, the Engineering Services Limited, also the Hull Daily Mail, Motor Depot, Fitness First, MKM Building Supplies, Winter's Key Shopping Centre, Brian Timber Limited. Thanks to the members of RISA for their efforts on our behalf. Today's match sponsor is East Yorkshire Coaches.
For Featherstone Rovers, been plenty of comings and goings during the close season. Jamie Rooney's been lost to the Super League, but they still have the old stages of Nathan Graham and Hooker, who always seems to cause Rovers problems, Richard Chapman. As usual, I'm joined by my compatriot, Aussie Rugby. Aussie, thoughts on today's game?
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to a good game today. We've had some good tussles against Featherstone last year. Memorable first match in the Challenge Cup, which saw the introduction of Dane Dorrell, when we all thought he was going to be a superstar. We know what happened to him. Anyhow, so I think we beat him 3 times last year, if I'm not mistaken, Rob, and they beat us once in a, 40 points to 42 or something ridiculous like that. Anyway, we're looking forward to this National Cup game. We had a lot of fun out of it last year. Ended up in the final of what was then the Buddies National Cup, and of course this year's the Arriva Trains National Cup. So yeah, we're open anyway. We've certainly not got any snow on the pitch today. I know they're asking for volunteers to clear the pitch this morning, but look, didn't look like there was much need for it. Did you come this morning, Rob?
No. It's going to be interesting. Full debut for Latham Tarfai at number 7 for Rovers. Came on last week as a substitute in a game which wasn't really suited to his style of play, and the Rovers fans will be looking to see a bit more from him today. Out come the Robins, led by captain Nick Pinkney.
Yeah, well, it looks like we're trying to see what sort of crowd we're getting today, and I think we'll be looking at 12 to 1500 for this match. It's not quite the season started yet. Bloody awful conditions underfoot. Temperature here, for any of you who are listening at home in the nice comfort your armchairs, is about 4 degrees. Wind chill factor about -45. We stood up here about 100 foot off the bleeding ground. Doing it for now for you lot, so I hope you bloody appreciate it.
We'll try and edit on some violins.
Not that I'm bitter.
Featherstone be wearing their traditional blue and white. Rovers, pleased to see, going back to the red breast. Traditional colours for the Robins.
Tell you what, Rob, it don't look like the picture's improved none since last week, does it? I mean, if anything, it's got worse. The side that Rovers are on the right-hand side, it's really a quagmire. We had quite a lot of rain today, overnight, and the snow's melted, so I think it's going to be a real war of attrition. Sort of probably seen the likes of Chapman having a good go, and Pickering taking him on, and Rich Wilson and Adam Sullivan, and it's going to be their sort of game, really, isn't it? Anyway, it looks like Featherstone are kicking off right to left. Featherstone kicking off from the Umber end of this ground. The wind's sort of westerly, so it's some behind us. So it's quite strong today as well. There's been a bit of a weather warning. So certainly from a 40-20 point of view, kicking from left to sort of right would certainly pay dividends for any side. Anyway, it's Featherstone kicking off in the form of Feathers kicking off, and it's well took. Rovers for the first drive into the match, and anyway, I'll pass over to Rob Chapman.
Yeah, it's the Rovers with the first use of the ball. Cochrane goes to the blind side, brings in Adam Sullivan. He'll be looking for a big performance after the disappointment of being dismissed from the field last week. Here's Rich Wilson. He's tackled by two Featherstone players. One of them was Stuart Dickens, who he had a rare old tear up here last season, Simon, didn't he? Stuart Dickens. Referee penalising Featherstone for offside, and Rovers with a chance to put early pressure on the Featherstone Rovers line. Pickering runs off. He brings in big Johnny Aston wearing 10 for the Robins. Three-man Featherstone defence. Well, the ball's gone loose. Referee Mr. Klein judging that the ball went backwards, and Rovers still with use of the ball. It's a good solid drive by Andy Smith. He knocked Dickens to the floor there. Quick play the ball, brings in Taifai. Inside ball to Johnny Aston, but well met by the Featherstone Rovers defence. Steve Dooler was in there for the Featherstone Rovers, but once again interference by Featherstone Rovers, and there's an early chance for Rovers to get the first points of the game. We've only been playing a minute and a half, and should be an easy two for the Robins here, Simon.
Yeah, an easy two. It was a daft mistake to make by the Featherstone players there, trying to steal the ball. Two-man tackle straight in front of the post, giving away an easy 2 points. It looks like Latham Taiwan's trying to get to the centre of everything at the moment. He's putting the inside ball in that led to the position to set up this penalty. It's certainly going to be an easy 2 points here, and it's, well, we're sort of hoping for a good game, but I think until the picture really dries out, we're not going to see too many, are we, really? It's going to be a bit of a war of attrition.
Yeah, after the away win at York, it's important just to back that up with a victory today, and that should put them in a commanding position in the Eastern Group qualifying table. It's actually going to be Linton Stott with the kicking duties today, and well, he banged that one over without too much trouble. It was an easy kick, to be fair, but Rovers really struggling on the goal kicking front, really, Simon. Poucher kicked magnificently last week. He's injured today, and they've had to go to another backup kicker in Linton Stott, who's probably fair the fourth choice.
Yeah, I think Chris Chow's left a big void there, anyway, really. So anyway, it's Featherstone's kick-off once again, kicking to Michael, but it's actually Alistair McLaren who takes it. Taking it in, trying to beat some players, getting it to the 20-yard line before he's tackled by a good Featherstone tackle. Just running off, but well out again.
Yeah, Craig Farrell running off there for the Robins. Cochrane's at the play of the ball. Taifai spins the ball out. It was Paul Parker, the off half. Andy Smith runs off from the play of the ball. Johnny Aston, solid defence by Featherstone. Chris Molyneux was in there along with Andy Rice. Kick comes in from Taifai. It's comfortably gathered by Adrian Flynn. Very experienced player is Adrian Flynn, and this time the Robins have adjudged to have been offside from the kick, and Featherstone with a chance just to ease the pressure. Interesting, Simon, wearing 3 for Featherstone Rovers is a certain Brendan O'Meara, who was, I think, one of Steve Linnane's first targets for the Rovers when he joined the club.
Yeah, I was surprised that Featherstone managed to get him, especially after all the financial difficulties went through at the end of last season. In the close season, but they picked up, beat us to it. So sometimes I think with Rovers, it's the distance they've got to travel that puts players off.
Here's Featherstone with their real first attack of the game. Nathan Graham joins the line, but he's met by solid Rovers tackling, about 38 metres out from the Rovers line. Andy Rice, once again, solid Rovers tackling. Referee taking the Robins back a good 10. Kick comes in from Chapman. It's deep, it's 10. The full back round, Mike Hall, but he's gathered the ball. And a decent run from Mike Hall there, bringing the ball away from his own try line. Pickering, well, it was a difficult ball for Craig Farrell to take, but he took it well. And Featherstone Rovers will be looking to put a bit of pressure on the Robins line here. That's the third tackle. Chapman was in there, along with Steve Dooley, the second row forward. Jamie Boville for the Robins, and Rovers now starting to find a bit of ground, but that's a bad mistake. It's Johnny Aston spilling the ball, and it's going to be a scrum down to Featherstone Rovers, midway inside the Hulkingston Rovers half. And both sides not really settled yet, Si.
No, they don't have the. I think Featherstone are playing a better game at the moment, trying to kick deep, make Rovers play from their own half. It's very, very hard to break any tackles and get any yards on this narrow Rovers pitch, especially with nothing on the foot. Anyway, it's a good run off from number 5, Adrian Flynn, our old adversary from Dewsbury days.
Yeah, as the hailstone comes plummeting down here at Craven Park, Featherstone on the attack, but a tremendous tackle from the Robins. And it was Andy Smith, the best tackler at the club, always has been for the last 4 or 5 years, and he absolutely mullered the Featherstone Rovers player then, and it's just what the Rovers needed.
Yeah, it's nice to say it, isn't it, Robert? Let's give somebody else the Muller title for a change rather than Psycho. Anyway, it's a pass out here, and it's to McLaren, and he's trying to make a breakthrough, but well held in the middle. The Hale's certainly coming down big time here. It's Johnny Aston running in, making a good 10-15 yards, for solidly tackled by 2 Featherstone players. Pickering making a dummy, passing it off to Rich Wilson, who's once again well held. He's trying to get the ball out. Latham Tawai looking to spread the ball, but quite an obvious pass there to number 11.
Yeah, Rovers just crossing the halfway line now. Cochrane feeds Johnny Aston, who goes flying into a Featherstone 3-man wall. Still going, Johnny Aston showing good strength. It's the 5th and last for the red and whites. Cochrane feeds Tarfai, kicks for the corner, and it's a good solid kick. It's going to be a scrum down about 8 metres from the Featherstone line, and Tarfai with the right option there, just taking a bit of weight from the forwards in what is the heavier part of the field in terms of mud and rain.
Well, yeah, I think it's the right option today. Is kick for that 10-yard line, make them play with the ball, and they are going to drop it. We saw it at Siddle last week. We're dropping it all match, and it's even colder today. So anyway, it's out to Nathan Graham, and he makes a break, but he don't get too far. He's struggling. Well tackled by Michael, and but a little bit too much extra from Linton Stott there. I think he was just putting a hand in the face. The toucher saw it, and this 23-year-old Australian referee from London is having quite a good game at the moment.
Yeah, Mr. Clan just having a word there with Linton Stott. Silly really, Featherstone on the first tackle deep inside their own half, and it's just relieved the pressure from them. Chapman takes the tap, fed the ball onto Carl Briggs, but once again it's absolutely tremendous tackling by Rovers. Unfortunately, one of them's taken what looks to be a heavy hit. There's 2 players down, 3 players down, 2 in red and white, 1 in Featherstone's colours. Jamie Boville staggering away, looks as though he's quite badly dazed. Rich Wilson looks to be struggling a bit, and there's also a Featherstone player in back play. Play goes on though, and it's with Nick Pinkney. He collects the ball 20 metres from his own line, and he's met by the Featherstone reception committee of Ian Brown and Steve Dooley. Parker, he fed the ball there, but Stott had nowhere to go then. Solid tackling by the Rovers of Featherstone. And Jamie Boville's had to leave the field from that knock, and it's quite concerned really, because he had to leave the field at York due to concussion, and he's took another bad knock there. But what it has done, it's brought on the man himself, Psycho, and well, he complained last week in his after-match speech that he doesn't like warming the bench. He wants to be on from the start, and he's actually on the field only 9 minutes in, so it's a great chance for Paul Fletcher to show coach Steve Linnane just what he can do. The kick from Rovers stuck in the mud, but it was good experience play by Nathan Graham. Featherstone looking to clear the lines now. There's the left centre, Ian Brown. Well, the ball's gone loose. backwards, says the referee, and now this will be a penalty. I don't think the referee made himself very clear then. He said play on. Adam Sullivan dropped on the Featherstone player and got penalised. Simon?
Yeah, it was a bit of a funny thing, that one. He dropped the ball, he didn't have full control of it. The Rovers bloke went in, tried to win the ball back, and they give a penalty. It was a 6-1 after, doesn't the other, and decided against Rovers.
Substitution for Hopkinson Rovers, number 16, Steve Cochran, replaces number 8, Richard Wilson.
Well, the second player from the collision a few moments ago has had to leave the field. Rich Wilson's been replaced by Steve Cochran, which means we're now playing with two hookers out on the field, which is going to be interesting. Paul Fletcher's no doubt going to the front row. I think Johnny Aston will probably go in the front row also, yeah. But Rovers losing both the prop forwards inside the first 10 minutes, Sam.
Well, it's worrying, on the size of our pack, which is ain't exactly on the big side, is it, once you get a couple of injuries like that. There's no Richie Hayes, there's nobody else to back him up this year, but I tell you what, Johnny Aston's certainly looking big, isn't he, so far in this game. He can only go from strength to strength, really.
It's a scrum down, head and feed to Rovers, just inside their own half of the field. Linton Stott sizes up the Featherstone Rovers defence. He's tackled by Ian Brown. Adrian Flynn was also lurking there. Paul Parker, he showed the dummy, come inside. Looked to be a slightly high tackle by the Featherstone Rovers defence there. Johnny Aston goes charging in once again. Tremendous appetite for the game as Johnny Aston, the player the ball needs to be quicker. It's with Tarfai. Well, he's gone to kick the ball over the Featherstone defence. It smacks Andy McNally smack in the face, and the referees are judging that it's not back to one, and it's just continued with a tackle count. It's the fifth and last. Rovers are about 18 metres out. They've gone to the blind side. It's a kick throw, but it's been gathered by Jamie Stokes, the Featherstone Rovers right winger, and there it's just a bit of a stalemate at the moment. Featherstone running across their own line of defence, shrugging off would-be tacklers there from the red and whites. The Rovers of Hull Kingston just need to put in a big set of six here, perhaps a crunching tackle from Saiko or Johnny Aston just to get the crowd behind them. Chapman feeds the ball out to Danny Seal. The ball's gone loose from Danny Seal, and was asking Rovers for some big hits to force the error, and in the end it was an unforced error from Featherstone Rovers, which gives Rovers a great chance to put some pressure on the line.
Yeah, they do seem to save some of the best rugby, don't they, Rovers, and tackling for Featherstone. I don't know what it is. It's like almost like our local derby now. Anyway, the ball's out, and a good ball to Paul Parker, but he does a driving run, makes it the 5 yards.
Yeah, Parker there at the acting half is looking for the gap into the Featherstone Rovers defence, looking to take this Featherstone Rovers defence on. Pickering goes to the blind side. It's with Craig Farrell. He gathered the ball, he put his head down, and he charged to about 4 metres out. Pickering goes himself. It must be close. It must be virtually on the line. He's not quite made it. It's going to be Cochran. Cochran to Johnny Aston. Short ball. Oh, it's gone loose from Big Psycho, and that's going to be play on to Featherstone Rovers, but half a chance there for the red and whites. Unfortunately, the ball couldn't go to hand, and Featherstone Rovers bringing the ball away just in front of their own posts. Linton Stott with a big hit there for the Rovers on there. Number 11, Steve Dooley. Chapman trying to get Featherstone moving forward, but this Rovers defence, well, that's been the most impressional thing in the opening few games of this season, is the ability to put these big hits in and stop teams dead in the tracks. It looks as though there's another Rovers player down, possibly Andy Smith. It looks like a dead leg. And Featherstone Rovers have put the ball deep. Being gathered by Nick Pinkney, the Rovers skipper, trying to take on Ian Brown. I think this Ian Brown was a Sheffield player last year, Simon, from what I recall. He's certainly a big lad for a centre. Andy Smith still down in back play as Rovers bring the ball out 30 metres from their own try line. Steve Cochran tackled by the combined efforts of Chris Molyneux and Steve Dooler for Featherstone Rovers. This Steve Dooler certainly looks to be the Featherstone Rovers tackling machine at the moment. Seems to be everywhere. And Johnny Aston's made a break. He's fed the ball. Tarfai to Paul Pickering. Paul Pickering's going to go in under the post. And it's a tremendous try for Rovers. We're in the 15th minute. And that man, Johnny Aston, he made the break. He had support and tremendous backup play there. And especially Paul Pickering, who went the final 20 metres under the sticks.
Fantastic support play there, wasn't it? Saying about Johnny Aston, he's been doing it all match. He's been running on that left-hand side and he's been making yards. It looked like it was going to come and it did. He broke 2 tackles, slipped the ball out. Fantastic support play. Eventually saw Pickering go sailing under the post for a fantastic try, a 50-yard move. This Johnny Aston, he really looks like he's took off from where he left off before that terrible accident he had. And it looks like he's going to fill the gap that look who's left.
Yeah, and what it's done is Pickering scooting in under the post has left Linton Stott with a very kickable chance here. Chance to put Rovers a favour 2 in front against the Rovers at Featherstone. Clean as a whistle, it's there. Hulkingston Rovers 8, Featherstone Rovers 0.
And successful covering the Hulkingston Rovers number 3, Linton Stott.
The Featherstone Rovers coach is, of course, Andy Kelly, a former red and white, probably best remembered for a drop goal of all things against Wigan at the old Craven Park. That try should now have give Rovers the confidence to kick on and really have a go at this Featherstone Rovers defence. Paul Fletcher driving the ball out. Here's this man again, Johnny Aston, and there was 3-4 Featherstone Rovers players going to meet him. They know just what a devastating attacking force this Johnny Aston can be. Tarfai's put a good kick in. Jamie Stokes has had to come round to gather. And Andy Smith, it's good to see he's recovered from that knock. He's back up and running again. Oh, and there's a bad mistake there from Featherstone. I think it was Danny Seal who's dropped the ball. It could in fact have been there. Well, it's hard to say. The mud's covering the numbers after quarter of an hour as usual, Sam. Anyhow, I'll bring you in a moment because it's Rovers on the attack. Andy Smith's gone from the base of the scrum. Rovers about 11 metres out. It's with Linton Stott. Linton Stott brings in Steve Cochrane. Well, he really charged in there, but this tackling man for Featherstone, Dooler, was one of the 2 who put him on the flat of his back there. Tarfai switched the play. Paul Parker slings the ball inside. There was half a break. Well, I think the referee's going to bring that back for a knock-on. In fact, he has done. But once again, Simon, half chance for Rovers from the Featherstone Rovers knock-on.
It's Paul Parker, lad's doing a lot of work, and he is Latham Tower in a lovely dummy. Had Adam Sullivan best on his right-hand side, dummy to him. He took about 4 Featherstone players with him, passed out left. Parker again through a dummy, went for the gap. Half got through and chucked the ball out, but the supporting player just went a bit low for him. But a fantastic support.
Yeah, we're just starting to bully them territorially now, Sal. Featherstone look as though they're having trouble breaking down our first line of defence, which is great to see from the Rovers' point of view. Good half break there for Ian Brown, the left centre, but once again, Rovers' defence solid, and it's even the smaller Rovers players like Pickering and Cochrane who are really putting the bodies on the line and really pouring it forward to these Featherstone forwards.
Yeah, this Pickering looks like a revelation of the season, doesn't he? He's just chucking himself about everywhere. I mean, look, he's there again. He'll take on anybody, and it's just what we want. We really did need somebody to take over from Mike Dixon, and he looks like the guy.
Yeah, the referee, Mr. Clans, penalised Rovers for stealing. I'm not 100% sure that was the correct decision. It looked as though it had squirmed loose to me, but as it is, it's going to be Featherstone Rovers attacking the Rovers half of the field, and the ball's gone loose again, and once again the referee signalled that the ball's gone backwards. The ball's with Richard Chapman. He brings in the big number 10, Stuart Dickens, who's not really made an impression so far. The Rovers forwards are bossing the Featherstone pack at the moment. It's going to be loose forward, Danny Sale. He scoots off from the acting half. Linton Stott checked him in his stride, and he was finished off by Cochrane and Paul Parker, but it's first serious attack now from Featherstone Rovers. They're only 10 metres out. It's the fifth and last. Chapman brings in Dooley. He's put a little kick through, and where it's a sensible option there from Nick Pink, they just parried the ball dead. It's going to be a dropout, but no points conceded, and Rovers still holding on to this 8-0 lead against the Featherstone Rovers. Si.
Yeah, they say it's been a tough game, and I think Rovers are playing the right tactics. When they can, they're trying to kick it deep. Maybe start from the scrum again and get Featherstone playing their own half. They've got a big side, and they're struggling really with pace and trying to get out of it. They've got the likes of Adrian Flynn, but he's maybe seen his day. And whereas Rovers have got quite a bit of pace in the form of Paul Parker and Alistair McLaren. Anyway, it's Featherstone to pick the ball back up and run again.
Yeah, it's Featherstone now just enjoying the possession. Nathan Graham joined the line there, and Steve Dooley running the ball out wide. Good tackle from Linton Stott. Chapman brings in the big number 8, Chris Molyneux. Forward pass, shouts the crowd, but the referee's got no support from his touch judge there on the left-hand side, and players allowed to continue. Chapman to Dooley. Dwelly was looking to bring Adrian Flynn in. Rovers was slightly opened up there. It's with Andy McNally to Briggs. They've spread the play out, and I think the referee's seen the forward pass on this occasion, but first real enterprise from Featherstone there, and there was half a chance, but forward pass brings the play back.
Yeah, I mean, it's a real new look Featherstone side here. They've lost Craig Brough, Matt Bramwell, David Evans, Neil Lowe, Richard Newlove, Jamie Rooney, Chris Spade, Gary Swinson. So they've lost more than half a pack and half a team, and putting it together. So maybe take a few matches getting it together, but it certainly looked like some enterprising play there. Anyway, it's Andy Smith picks up from the bottom of the scrum, and it's good running.
Yeah, Rovers look as though they've well, that's gone backwards, referee. It was a sloppy play of the ball, but they was fortunate to get away with it, only 25 metres out in front of their own posts, but the pitch is getting heavy, and as with last week's game, as the game goes on, it's going to be more difficult underfoot and in handling terms. Here's that man Johnny Aston, once again charging into the Featherstone Rovers line. It's the fifth and last. Rovers need the good kick. Typhi produces one. It's going to go into touch, and it's bounced into touch only 20 metres out from the blue and white Featherstone Rovers line, and it's certainly got a decent kick in that game on him in these early exchanges, Sam.
Well, I mean, a lot of Northern Ford Premiership rugby, or National Cup rugby we're playing today, is about getting the simple things right, and one of the simple things which we didn't do all last season was run a good 5 and then get 6 kicking, so that we could make the other side start from their own half. And it looks like we've got it together now with this Latham Tower that is constantly finding the 20 to the 10 yard line and making teams like Featherstone start from their own line, which when they haven't got a lot of pace is always going to be difficult.
Chapman feeds the ball out to I think it's Stuart Dickens for Featherstone Rovers. The 10 metres inside their own half. Chapman sells the dummy, and he almost went through, and it was solid defending there by Typhi. He managed to grab him by the ankles and drag him down. Kick comes in, it's turned Mike Hall round. He gathers the ball only 2 or 3 metres out from his own line, and he's met by a solid tackle by Ian Brown, and the pendulum swung the other way in terms of territorial advantage. Chris Molyneux's left the field for Featherstone Rovers, and Robin Jowett's come on. I do believe he's the brother of that Pudding of Wolfsand. Rovers now. Adam Sullivan. He's brought in McLaren. Well, He got a chance to Morte, he went about 12-15 metres, but the cover managed to come across. It's Tarfai again, he puts the kick in, it was rebounded off a Featherstone player, and I think the Featherstone player who actually dropped on it could have been offside there, Si.
Yeah, I think you're right. It looked like it was slightly in front of him, didn't he? I'll tell you what we're missing today, though, Rob, is Craig Pouchy. He had such a fantastic game against Siddle and all, and we're just sort of missing maybe his... he'll get a bit of yard out there on the left-hand side, as Featherstone's right seems to be a bit weak.
Yeah, it's first touch of the ball for Robin Jowett. Looks to be a big guy, but Fletcher will murder him if he gets a chance. Featherstone Rovers, they're only about 5 metres inside the Hulkingston Rovers half of the field. It's the fifth and last. It's with this man Chapman again. I mean, you've got to give credit to Chapman. He's one of them players who really gets you back up, but he knows how to play rugby league.
Well, this is it with Featherstone. I mean, everybody said it was Rooney, but I don't know about you, Rob, but I never saw Rooney have that good a game for Featherstone. And after talking to a couple of the players, they said they always knew he was it. They always liked playing against him because they could always beat him in a tackle.
Yeah, Rooney was what I'd call an home ground player. He was always devastating at Post Office Road or the Lionheart Stadium, but ineffective away from home. Play goes on now with 26 minutes here on the clock at Craven Park, and Steve Cochrane's charging in. He's really fired up for this one, Steve Cochrane. Yeah, he's playing for a shirt, is Cochrane. Man just brought down is probably one of the first names on the team sheet at the moment.
Number 17, Paul Fletcher.
Paul Fletcher's leaving the field. Jamie Boville's back on, which is good to see. And another kick from Tarfai, and he's turned Featherstone round again. And at the moment, he's just picking his spot. There's no pressure on him from the Featherstone defence, and we're managing to play the game in their danger zone.
So his play a lot reminds me of that Wayne Parker when we had him. I mean, he did the simple things right. He got players moving. He got the ball out when it needs to go out, and he just kept dibbing away those kicks and making them play from their own half. With this defence that we've set ourselves out this year, the team's always going to find it hard to get out their own half unless they're Salford or something, and we could do all right.
Nathan Graham charging towards the Rovers' defence, but Paul Parker was in there along with Adam Sullivan. Ian Brown, where he's trying hard, but at the moment they're just getting hammered by the Rovers' defence, and it's tremendous to see. Chapman brings in the substitute Jowett, well, he's got nowhere to go because Andy Smith and Steve Cochrane was on him as soon as he received the ball. Kick comes in from I think it was Briggs, comfortably gathered by Michael, and he brings in the speedster Alistair McLaren. Not really his type of pitch, this one. I think he'll get a few running chances at Scotland next week as Craig Farrell's on his hands and knees, and he still managed to make ground. And Rovers, well, they had a bit of momentum there. Unfortunately, Andy Smith dropped the ball, but good for the Rovers of Hull Kingston is that Featherstone were all a mile offside, and this referee, Ashley Klein from London, he blew up immediately, and there's a chance for a kick at goal, but I'd probably elect to put a bit more pressure on the Featherstone line here, Si.
Well, he is, but I'd go for goal myself, mate. I'd get them 2 points in and don't worry about it afterwards. We get the ball back. But yeah, it shows the confidence of Rovers when they're tapping it, and he's having a run left and Tawa goes straight arm, gets them all offside again. Well, that's what you call a thinking player, isn't it? He's got them offside, now we can go for goal.
Yeah, Captain Nick Pinkney straight away is across there, and I think that the kick for goal is going to come this time. If you looked at where the last penalty was given, Sam, and you'd have been kicking from a glue pot, that extra 10 yards has just made the difference. Where they are now, the ground doesn't look too bad, and it should be an easy chance for Linton Stott to add on the extra 2.
I'll tell you one thing, Rob, it certainly sent the Featherstone commentators a bit quiet over there. Can't see them mentioning much at all, but our usual banter with the away commentators, well, could call it banter, otherwise just insults, couldn't you? It's usually ways after half time after I've had a couple, isn't it?
Linton Stott now, he's about 18 metres out, just to the right hand side of the post. It should be a comfortable 2. In with the ground as it is, you can never be sure. But he's thumped it through. It's 1 try and 3 goals to the Rovers. 10 points, Featherstone 0.
So if we've been allowed to play with this pitch for a few games, it's going to do us some benefits. I know Rovers have always been a top of the ground pitch, but the way they're playing, they're kicking deep and making teams play from their own half. We're certainly going to reap some benefits from it, aren't we?
Yeah, I think half hour into the game, coach Steve Linnane's got to be fairly satisfied with the way things are going. Featherstone Rovers not really troubled our line, and we've had we've scored 1 try. We've looked capable of scoring on 2 other occasions, and when you've got men like Johnny Aston and Jamie Boville who are doing the hard work, and you've got class in the backs with the likes of Paul Parker, Tarfai and the speed of McLaren, you can see Rovers, I think we'll win the game comfortably. The pitch is going to probably slow down the number of points we'll score, but I'm quite confident we'll take the game today.
Tell you what, it's quite nice to have Jimmy Walker on the bench as well, isn't it? I mean, he can play in any of the back positions, and he's always got that bit of speed, and he does come up with them odd try where he just comes up with from now.
It's the 5th and last, so I think the ball's going to go to Tarfai. Indeed it does, and once again he's put in. Well, that must have been very, very close, because the east stand went so happy that the judge to gone out on the full. It probably hit the line, and I do believe the line is out.
Yeah, the line is out, Rob, and it did hit the line, but it was very close, something, and I think the swirling wind maybe just hampered that. Terrible pass from Chapman, I believe it was. Anyway, he's trying to make amends to it now.
Yeah, the ball's going to be played. Chapman getting up quite slowly from that. Could have took a knock. Featherstone looking to attack the Rovers' left-hand side. Can't really see any weaknesses over there, because Farrell can tackle and so can McLaren, but they've released the ball in the tackle on this occasion, and there's a chance now for Featherstone. It's with Ian Brown. The crowd screaming for a forward pass, but the referee probably going with a momentum rule there. The ball's played. It's number 11, Steve Dooler, running on the Featherstone side of the attack, left-hand side. It's the 5th and last. It's with the scrum half, Carl Briggs. That's a tester. The Featherstone winger looked to be a mile offside, to be fair. And I think the scrum down's going to go to Featherstone Rovers, because it hit McLaren on the way out.
I think, what do you think about McLaren and his ability to catch balls, Rob? It's, I would say it leaves something to be desired, really, doesn't it? Doesn't seem to have good sort of art to ball contact, really. Not that I want to criticise the guy, because it's a great player, but I think just a bit of test on those up and unders could help him.
Well, the conditions are worsening once again. Hail and sleet coming down. Referee wanted the ball played into the scrum again, and there's a real chance now for Featherstone Rovers as Nathan Graham joins the line. But good, solid defence by Hull Kingston. Cochrane was in there. Aston was in there. This is Dooler for Featherstone, running across the field of play. Well, Andy McNally, the standoff, he's dropped his shoulder. There was half a gap. The referee's penalising Hull Kingston again. I think he's going to pull over Johnny Aston for a chat. 10 points to 0. I don't think it's where Featherstone Rovers going for the 2. They probably need a try before half time, because their try scoring opportunities have been very limited in this half, and in fact they're running the ball, and Rovers need to be alert now. Wide out on the right, about 6 metres out. It's with number 12, Andy Rice, but this Hull Kingston Rovers defence, they're absolutely mullering them. There's Jowett, cleanest shirt on the field. Shouldn't be too much longer after going under a 3-man Rovers tackle. Chapman, where this is the areas where he's the most dangerous, looking for the half gap. It's going to come out to scrum half, Carl Briggs. He's put the little kick through, and well, it was the right option in the end. I think it was Linton Stock, or possibly Paul Parker, just putting the ball dead, and the dangers averted for the time being, Simon. But did you really sense Featherstone was going to go over then at all?
Well, they seem to have a bit of gap on this left-hand side of their attack. where they maybe they sometimes seem to create an extra man, but they don't seem to use it that well. And I maybe thought they might spread it across quicker, but Rovers' swarming defence sort of stopped the props before they even got going. So anyway, there's an injury taking place. I think a bit of treatment to well, it's either Jamie Boville or John Aston. You can't really tell till he turns around with them scrum caps on. I believe it's John. Is it Jamie Boville? Yeah, Jamie Boville, his second knock of the game. And they've also seen trying to spot him without his. Anyway, it's a good drop out. Come out to the Featherstone player at the 40-yard line, and he retains it with interest.
Yeah, it's Featherstone Rovers about 30 metres out from the Hull Kingston line. But once again, this swarming Robins defence is all over the blue and white shirts. Andy Smith was in there.
Number 8, Richard Wilson, replaces number 16, Steve Cockrell.
Richard Wilson's rejoined the game. He's got a bandage over his head. Featherstone are moving the ball out to their left-hand side, and there was half a chance, but once again, tremendous defence by Hull Kingston Rovers. It was Paul Parker. Well, there's nowhere to go for these Featherstone players. Ian Brown received the ball then, and straight away he had a man either side of him, and yeah, I think Featherstone are just resorting to desperate kicks like that now, because Craig Farrell just said, "Thank you very much, I'll take them all day." And if they take a quick tap now, Featherstone Rovers are all offside, and the referee should really have pulled them up there. Pickering brings in Rich Wilson, should still have fresh legs. He only played the first 9 minutes or so. We're now into the about the 36th minute, and Alistair McLaren's absolutely steaming after that one, and he's nailed the Featherstone player 10 metres out, and he must have thought, where the hell did you come from? Jamie Stokes running off for Featherstone, but once again they're just not finding no place to run. That man there, Andy Smith, first man in, round the ankles, absolutely tremendous. An example to any youngster taking up the game, Andy Smith and his tackling. Chapman runs off, but even he's got nowhere to go this time, and Big Jowett's brought down, and Featherstone, well, they're doing 6s and 7s now. They've got absolutely nowhere to go because the Hull Kingston Rovers defence is just so supreme at the moment. So with that man Chapman again, he's put the kick in. It's going to be a comfortable take for Ali McLaren. Takes the ball 10 metres inside his own half. Goes like a knife through butter through the first line of defence. Made a good 15-16 metres then. Ali McLaren. Andy Smith is running sideways, eyeing up the Featherstone defence. There was a high tackle. Andy Smith having a bit of a disagreement. Well, it had to be him, didn't it? It had to be Chapman. Whenever there's a Featherstone Rovers player in a bit of strife, it's usually Chapman. Referees straight in between. Touch judge was on quickly. It's been sorted out, so there's no nonsense like there was in the cup against Siddle last week. Referee just having a word with Chapman. As usual, Chapman having something to say back, but he knows it was a high tackle. There's no disputing that, and we'll just get on with the game now. It's going to be Tarfai. Kicks the ball, takes Rovers about 28 metres out from the Featherstone Rovers line. There's about 2.5 minutes left, so it'd be an absolutely tremendous time to score a try just before half time. Should really kill the game off should the Robins score here. And Johnny Aston's released it. It went to ground. It's been regathered by the Robins. Pickering feeds there. I think it was Jamie Boville. Jamie Boville. He plays the ball. Pickering brings in Tarfai. It's a little dink throw. Well, there was a definite obstruction there by the Featherstone Rovers defence. I think it was Paul Parker who was absolutely the meat in a sandwich there between two blue and white shirts. But Featherstone Rovers, credit to them, they took a quick tap. But once again, the Rovers defence, Hull Kingston Rovers defence, is just bossing them. Look at the tackling there. Look at the tackling. Well, that's an accidental penalty that the Rovers player was trying to get back, and Chapman's just pushing and shoving, and you name it, he's doing it. There was a 2-on-1, but Craig Farrell quickly shuffled across and shut the gap. Jamie Stokes brought down by Richard Wilson. Chapman brings in Carl Briggs. Briggs, well, he showed the ball to his left, had to move forward, and in the end he ran into the two-man Rovers tackle. Chapman's at the acting half-back, he moves the ball left. Once again, nowhere to go for Featherstone. Danny Seal. Chapman collects the ball. Well, Doola was the intended target. It flew over his shoulder and straight into touch. And to be fair, Featherstone Rovers, they've came here and they're not offering much. And that's not saying that they're a poor side, it's just that the Rovers' defence is absolutely mullering them. And there's the half-time hooter. It's been a solid display from the red and whites, and at half-time they lead Featherstone Rovers in this Arriva Trains Eastern Group qualifying game by 10 points to 0.
So we'd like to show our appreciation for the Shooting Stars.
We're back underway at Craven Park in absolute monsoon conditions. If we thought the conditions was difficult in the first half, this is going to be absolute murder for the players. As usual, we've just come charging up the stairs after our half-time pant, and we're knackered, out of breath. Do have a training session from Steve Linnane. It's Rovers with the possession now, just inside their own halfway. Paul Parker takes the tackle from Featherstone Rovers. Featherstone have done us the favour of putting new shirts on at half-time. Thanks, Andy Kelly. Can you do the same, please, Steve Linnane? It's Nathan Graham now. Well, come charging out his own line, but met by two-man Rovers tackle, and he's going nowhere. I'm not sure if the cameras are picking up just how bad this rain is. It's absolutely sailing down. The wind's swirling about in all different directions, and you've got to give the players credit for even attempting to play rugby in these conditions, but that's what they're trying to do. It's going to become a bit of a lottery in this second half. Ball was played by Danny Seal, been rejoined by Aussie Rugby. It's actually turned from rain to snow now. It's unbelievable.
Tell me again, mate, why do we do this? Why don't we just sit home and watch bloody Antiques Roadshow or something? Anyway, at least we're out there having to earn our money.
Yeah, I just bumped into Craig Murdoch at half-time, and I said to him, I bet you're glad you're not playing, aren't you? And he gave me a bit of a wry smile, and that said it all, really.
Did he have a part in his hand at the time?
Surprisingly not. It's Rovers now inside the Featherstone half. Kick comes in from Tarfai. It's turned Nathan Graham round. And tremendous defence by Hull Kingston again. Yeah, the conditions may have got worse, but Rovers' defence certainly hasn't. They're absolutely swarming all over Featherstone Rovers. Featherstone pinned back inside their own. Well, there's a break now. First real slackness in the Robins defence. And good 30-40 metres made there. It was number 14, Danny Patrickson. In fact, sorry, it was number 4, Ian Brown, the former Sheffield Eagles player. He made an absolutely tremendous break.
The ref was a bit harsh there. Since we Rovers interfered, we played the ball, knocked it on, and he's given it head and feet to Rovers. So we got off a bit lightly there.
Yeah, I felt that Andy Smith should probably have been penalised for a flop then. Well, the decision's gone our way. The snow's still coming down, and Rovers are still winning 10-0.
See what, Rob, we'll look back on this in the middle of August, watching this video, we'll be laughing, won't we? Won't we?
It's Rovers now probing down this left-hand side, and there's I think it's going to be a forward pass adjudged. Adam Sullivan, it was a bit of an hospital pass, to be fair. He did well to take it. Forward pass, says Mr. Klein from London. On Featherstone, from scrum half, Carl Briggs can feed this scrum 20 metres from their own try line. Adrian Flynn coming in off the wing for Featherstone. All I can say, Si, is bring on summer rugby, mate.
Yeah, bring on some rugby. I just thought I'd make a quick mention to our cameraman, who never gets so much of a mention, does he? Roy, RS3P videos, 855-142 if you want any videoing doing. 855-142.
Yeah, well done, Roy. You're as mad as us two for coming up here every other week. Featherstone now, just inside their own half. Credit to them, they're trying to play rugby, which probably isn't the best things to do, but that's fell kindly for them. And Jamie Stokes has shown a fair old burst of speed then. He made about 30 metres, And well, that just about sums it up. Referee said play on, and Rovers, they picked the ball up. I think it was Tarfai, and Featherstone are going to be penalised if they carry on doing that. It was Steve Dooler dragging Tarfai all over the place. We're about centre field, about 3 metres from the halfway line now with the Robins. There's Richard Wilson, is distinguishable through the bandage on his head now. Well, that's a good burst there. Adam Sullivan running out wide, big number 11. That one's gone backwards, good decision ref. Pickering's gathered, jinx, but brought down by the Featherstone Rovers defence. It's going to be pretty much stalemate in this half, I would have thought, as the snow's still coming down. And here's Big Psycho. He's offloaded to Pickering. Unfortunately, Pickering couldn't gather the ball. And it's going to be a scrum down to Featherstone, and a bit of relief there for Featherstone. Had the ball gone to hand, it could possibly be another try for Rovers.
Yeah, also just be there, that Pickering, doesn't he? Picks the ball up and he looks for the gaps, and he follows people's shoulders, and it's a sign of a good hooker. And he's going to, when it dries out a bit, he's certainly going to get a few tries as this kid. He can only get on, I think he's only 18 and 19, and he's got a great future for Rovers in front of him.
Yeah, Featherstone safely collecting the ball from that scrum, and Hull Kingston will be looking to swarm all over him again, and that's just what they've done to Danny Sale, the loose forward. He's a player who's caused us one or two problems in the past, but not on this occasion. And well, it's like the middle of December, isn't it, Simon? But Rovers' defence certainly isn't handing out any Christmas presents. Carl Briggs bringing in the centre there, Ian Brown, but it's fifth and last, and Rovers' defence has done the job once again. Kick comes in. Michael's in the perfect position. It was Briggs who kicked it through, and the snow's actually getting worse now, and well, let's just hope it doesn't start to lay, Simon, or we'll not be able to see any lines. Here's Richard Wilson for Rovers, and Featherstone shirts, although they changed them at half-time, several of the players are well, they're covered up again, so it's going to be guesswork for one or two of them. It's a good kick. We know that's Nathan Graham. Picks the ball up 9 metres out from his own line. 3 men from the east of Hull in front of him, and he's brought down eventually, but not without a struggle. Featherstone once again. Paul Pickering brings down Danny Sale. That's O'Meara. Could have been a Robin, had things fallen into place. Well, credit to Featherstone, they're slinging this ball about, and I think that's a knock on. Well, he's not give it. I thought that come off a Featherstone hand, but over to you, Si, for the next couple of minutes. I need to get my breath back.
Well, we're still recovering from coming up them bloody stairs. And the can of tango to Rob if he wants it. Rover just kicked, Featherstone Rovers kicked straight to Alan McLaren, and he runs straight through the middle of the marsh, and he's just coming up from it now, and it's a good run. Oh, it's a fantastic run there. He's come for his Craig Farrell, and he looks to no, just can't get past the final man.
Yeah, tremendous break from Craig Farrell, but that experienced fullback Nathan Graham just showed him the inside, and Farrell couldn't beat him for pace on that occasion. Rovers now, they're spreading the ball out. It's with, well, I think that was Tarfai trying to put the kick in. It's ricocheted and gone safely into Featherstone Rovers' hands, but this snow's absolutely in free fall now.
Substitution for Kingston Rovers, number 14 Jimmy Walker, versus number 11 Adam Sullivan.
Jimmy Walker's on for Adam Sullivan, and well, I bet Steve Linnane's not seen this on Bondi Beach.
Yeah, he had a bit of time at Halifax, and I'm just looking at him down there, and he's looking a bit nippy, to say the least. But I'm sure he'll be pleased. He'll be able to stand it if he sees LKR victory. End of it. Anyway, oh, it's a strange pass straight to what?
Yeah, it was the Featherstone loose forward, Danny Sale. He lost control of the ball, but the referees pulled Hull Kingston for offside, and Jamie Stokes, with the presence of mind to take a quick tap, has put Featherstone on the attack. That's Steve Dooley, the second row forward. Featherstone now, they're about 12 metres out from the Hull Kingston Rovers line. Visibility getting poor about a second now. That'll probably be Chapman. Well, the ball's gone to ground from Andy McNally, the standoff, and a promising Featherstone Rovers attack. Pretty more or less right, the rest of their attacks has gone to ground. It's going to be a scrum down. It'll be Latham Tarfai to feed the ball. One or two of the players are just in your picture there. They don't look the happiest bunch in the world, do they? But well, they've got to be professional. They've got to get on with it. They better get warm in the scrum, won't they?
I think Featherstone are really earning the 50 quid a man today, aren't they? That we're getting for losing.
Ali McLaren brings the ball out, linked up with the scrum there. The ball switched. I think that's John Aston in possession. It's hard to see through the snow here at Craven Park. I wonder how the Doyle's going on down there. Well, that's a loose pass. It's just dropped on by Rovers. Apologies to you regular video buyers. We've just got no chance of seeing the numbers. Simon's trying to look at the monitor to pick them out, and I think it's just as bad on there. So let's just hope that the officials don't abandon it, really, because the last thing we need is a replay. Played 52 minutes of the game now, so probably another 10 minutes or so and the result would stand any outside.
Yeah, it makes you think about that match where Hull played a couple of years back where they all got hypothermia, and a week after they all started wearing wetsuits, didn't they? I think look at the picture on the right hand side here, you could do a bloody wetsuit and a snorkel.
Play goes on now. It's their big second row man, Steve Dooley. Well, there was a bit of a slap from a Rovers player there. Referee just having a quiet word, saying, come on fellas, keep it down. Forward shouts the crowd as Featherstone move off. The ball's been spun out. It's with Danny Seal. Danny Seal brought down, good tackling by Rovers. Tarfai was in there along with Jamie Beauville. And once again, well, it's the fifth and last, and Featherstone, they're only 38 metres out still. Ball's with O'Meara. O'Meara just a little kick through. Well, one-handed take as he slid along the floor. I think it was Jamie Beauville. Ali McLaren jinking, looking for a gap. Tries to find one, not forthcoming on this occasion. And that's Jimmy Walker running off from the acting half. Another Rovers player joining. It looks to be Blanchard.
15, Mark Blanchard replaces number 17, Paul Fletcher.
And yet again, Paul Fletcher's the one to take the breather. The ball's gone loose. The referee's got a decision to make, and the touch judge has made it for him. Knock on Hull Kingston Rovers.
Yeah, it's well, the snow certainly calmed down, and you might want to see a bit of picture now. It is some of the worst conditions I've seen for a long time here at Craven Park. The pitch has gone to a new all-time low, but I think both sides are making the best of it, really, and we're seeing some half-decent rugby considering. It's certainly one up from last week against Siddle.
Yeah, thankfully the snow's stopped now, and the players have suddenly appeared again. It's Featherstone through Richard Chapman. Blanchard with a cleanest shirt on the pitch now, and he was involved in the tackle. It's scrappy play from Featherstone, but they're still in possession, and that is until an absolutely tremendous tackle from Jamie Beauville stopped the player dead in his tracks. That's O'Meara now, the former Rochdale captain. Stuart Dickens, our favourite players, rejoining the fray. I do believe we called him Buster Blood Vessel last year, so. Good strength shown there by Featherstone, and they're now in the danger zone. Only one tackle left. The ball's going to go to Briggs, the scrum half. The Rovers was out the line so quick, and it's gone loose, and it should be play on. Well, that's all on, and Featherstone have got the ball, and well, not 100% sure the correct decision was made.
Substituting for Featherstone Rovers, number 10.
And Dickens has knocked the ball on. And I think that's justice, because I don't really think that Featherstone should have had any advantage from the last passage of play side.
No, I don't think so either. I think it was a bit of an error there by the Rovers player. He tried to go for the ball, but it hit his back, it never hit his hand. And when it was the last tackle, he maybe should have just left it, let the Featherstone player pick it up and then just give him a good mullering. Anyway, the Rovers looking to get out their own half here. There's Latham Tawar puts the ball in his all brown shirt, and Pouch picks the ball up, takes it in, well wrapped up. Sorry, Parker picks the ball up and is well wrapped up.
Yeah, Rovers about 29 metres out from their own line now, forwards looking to do the hard graft. Richard Wilson met by a solid three-man Featherstone defence there. Dickens was in. There's that man Johnny Aston. He's got no fear, Johnny Aston. He just goes absolutely piling in. Jimmy Walker fed the kick and it's turned Nathan Graham round once again. He must be getting dizzy the amount of times he's been turned round in this game. And look at the defence side. It's absolutely tremendous.
It's the old saying, isn't it? What you've got to do is turn the full back, get a big deep kick in, turn the full back, he picks it up, turns round, that's a forward pass. It's a forward pass, it should never have been allowed. But anyway, Featherstone break, well it's Rovers, I believe, OKR have got it. You can hardly tell by the colour of the shirts. And Rovers look to play this Latham Tower. Out on the right, and was Beckham.
Yes, Rovers on the attack. It was an absolutely tremendous hit from I think it was either Aston or Boville. They absolutely mullered the Featherstone attacker. The ball went loose, and the red and white, so the Browns as we want to call them today, they're sniffing another try in here, and this should really kill the game should Rovers manage to get over. Jimmy Walker fed the ball out wide. The ball's gone loose from Rotal Kingston. It's a chance now, but the referee's given knock on. I think he took the signal from the touch judge. With 58 minutes played here at Craven Park, and it's still that score, 10 points to 0.
1,540. Thank you all for your support.
Yeah, 1,540 here at Craven Park today, which considering the conditions isn't bad at all. There's a few Featherstone fans boost the crowd here, but I'd say no more than about 150. So what the new Rovers fans for turning out.
Yeah, Nathan Graham received the ball from that scrum, and two Rovers players was on him like a rash. I mean, I'm tempted to come and watch Rovers train, just to see what sort of defensive patterns this Steve Linnane puts out, because I've never seen him slow up so quick into the tackle, Sam.
That's an interesting comment, that. Maybe you could have a chat with him after the match, Rob. See what he has to say about it. Give us a bit of feedback next match, yeah?
Featherstone looking to bring the... Look at that tackle from Jamie Boville. I mean, he's a young kid at, 19? And he's just knocking grown men backwards. I mean, what a future he's got. Featherstone now, all credit to him. They're trying to spin this ball out, and Ian Brown, well, basically they're running out of ideas. They're just throwing the ball from A to B. But then again, well, there's a perfect example of it. O'Meara had absolutely no chance of gathering that, but the winger, Adrian Flynn, he had nowhere to go, because had he ran at the Rovers' defence, he knew he was going to be hit by the tackle of all tackles, so he panicked and threw the ball out, and Rovers have forced the error again.
They sort of swarm with the defence, don't the Rovers? As soon as a big lad gets here, you get 3 or 4 absolutely flying in to get him before he even starts running. I think it sort of paid dividends when Linnane was a coach at Halifax. I know they had some close games for quite a long time against teams like Wigan and stuff like that, when they had nowhere near the squad, certainly at home and often in these conditions.
Yeah, it's Rovers in the Featherstone Rovers half of the field. That's Rich Wilson with a good drive. Jimmy Walker at acting half back to Latham Tarfai. Andy Smith out wide, brings in, I think that's Mark Blanchard. Good tackle by Featherstone, because Blanchard was just looking to use his body strength there. Little kick throw, and it's another little kick throw. The first one rebounded, and Rovers kick through again. What's noticeable, I'll start again. It's easy for me to say, isn't it? What's noticeable is it's similar conditions to last week, but Rovers haven't dropped as much ball as they did against Siddle.
It's funny that they've managed to get the ball out a bit more, and they've not dropped as much ball, and if anything, the forwards have made more ground than they did against Siddle. So I don't know what that tells you, but certainly Featherstone have made nowhere near the breaks that Siddle made last week. I would have said they got 7 or 8 good breaks against Rovers, whereas this week they've got nothing.
Rovers have just brought on number 15 Ben Archibald, and also Chris Molyneux's rejoined the field. Kick there, it's going to be gathered by Pinkney, does the right thing, just steps in field. Certainly it's just basically, well, there's a chance for him to get the ball away, unlucky. I think it was Mike Hall, the fullback. Had he had support, he could have maybe just slipped the ball and Rovers would have been downfield. Rich Wilson scrambles to his feet, plays the ball. Johnny Aston using his strength yet again. They must be sick of the sight of Johnny Aston, these Featherstone players. Jimmy Walker's at acting half again. Tarfai, just little dink over. And that's a tremendous kick from Latham Tarfai. Sensible rugby. Rovers 10 points up. It's not the greatest of margins, but then again, Featherstone aren't offering a really big threat either side.
No, they are. Often when we see this Featherstone side come to Craven Park, they don't really seem to do much. They're usually a bit of a disappointment, they usually drop the ball a lot. I know it certainly happened twice last year, and looks to be a repeat now. Obviously they aren't used to the conditions, and I know it's a pretty dry pitch in a lot of ways, is Featherstone's line. I say, but I mean, with passes like that, what can you expect? I mean, the words criminal spring to mind. I think what you got now is that Featherstone are desperately throwing the ball out, trying to create something, because they just can't find the gap through. And these Rovers players are absolutely eager and hungry to tackle these Featherstone players. Sorry if I haven't pronounced some of the words right, but my lips seem to have frozen. So you won't believe that's at home, but at least it's not snowing here.
Yeah, you actually look like Leslie Ash, Si. Your lips look like a duck.
Get your hands off my ass.
It's Rovers now, we're about 11 metres out, and well, we've said it before, but this really is a chance to put this game to bed. Well, it's a kick early in the tackle count. Oh, it's gone loose! Oh, is that a try? Adam Sullivan, I think, is trying to claim it, and the referee's agreed. And that's the try, that's clinched it. In fact, it's not Adam Sullivan. We'll just have to wait to see who the player is who's got the touchdown. Any ideas, Simon?
Thanks for that one, mate. We think it's Latham Tarfai, but we're not 100% sure. I'm sure he'll be quick to claim it later on in the bar. But yeah, I tell you what, that was a try that was made from persistence. He kept going, didn't give up, and that's what it's all about in conditions like this. I tell you what, we could really play something like Salford in the league in conditions like this. It might just even it up and make that £300,000 extra to get a year a bit more even, eh?
Well, you've heard it here first, but Salford will not do an Huddersfield. They will not walk away with that league. They're going to get pushed all the way, I believe. It's going to be Linton Stott. It's going to be a difficult kick, this. He's about 21 metres out, about 30 metres to the left. Well, that one's straight as a die. He watched it all the way, and that's an absolutely tremendous goal kick from Linton Scott.
Linton Scott. And we'll confirm the prime scorer as soon as it's transferred to the bench.
Even the Tannoy bloke, Ian doesn't know who scored that try, so it's just made us feel good about ourselves, hasn't we?
Yeah, just good to my call, I think, didn't he? So, well done, my call. But anyway, it's Featherstone to kick off, and it's well, that's the first time in about 4 seasons I've seen that a player's been given offside at the kicking ball. It happens all the time, and good on him, this Aussie ref. Well, from London anyway, but I know he's Australian. He's well marshalled this match and all game, and it's been set in difficult conditions.
Yeah, if he's an Aussie ref, his mates back home, they'd think he was taking it pee, wouldn't they? He'd told them about this game and how it had been snowing and raining, and it was just like playing on mud. They'd laugh him up. They'd laugh him all the way to the barbie. Steve Cochrane looks as though he's going to rejoin the game for Rovers. Now with that 16-0 advantage, I'd say the game's safely in bed now, and hopefully they'll be able to score another few tries in the remaining 14 minutes of the game. They're in the danger zone again. It's with well, I think that was Paul Parker. It's a quick play of the ball. Jimmy Walker brings in Richard Wilson. Richard Wilson's charging in towards the post. It's the fifth and last. The ball's going to go to Tarfai. Tarfai, once again, little kick through. Once again, there's a mistake from Featherstone, and it could be another try for Rovers. The referee, well, Parker's touched the ball down. The referee's talking to his touch judge. Parker's grounded the ball, but will the try be given? Well, it's going to be a knock on Rovers. That's the, because if it was advantage, the try would have been given. Oh, well, yeah, Featherstone have knocked on, Rovers have knocked on before they've grounded the ball. So it's head and ball to Rovers, only 10 metres out. The ball's with Latham Tarfai at the scrum. Referee not happy with the packing in. So Tarfai once again just ducks his head, takes the tackle of Stuart Dickens. The ball's now going to be played to Jimmy Walker. Walker spins the ball. Well, Cochrane is only just back on the field. He was eager, he wanted the ball, but unfortunately it's gone to ground, and the pressure's been relieved for Featherstone Rovers.
Yeah, a bit of a let-off there for Featherstone, really. But it's certainly the tactics to play in these conditions. A little grubber kick through. I mean, certainly is a grubber kick today, and anything can happen. It really can. And the Featherstone player went for it, but he didn't have much chance really on the floor. Anything can happen. There was 4 players to Featherstone's 1, and they were unlucky not to get the try. Anyway, Rob, it does make you wonder about the conditions here, whether they're going to improve into the season, or how far do you see it being before they get better?
Yeah, certainly we need, it's going to be April time before this pitch can really sustain top of the ground rugby, really, because obviously February, March you get a lot of rain. By about April, May things are just starting to improve, and I mean, certainly when we played summer rugby 2 or 3 years ago, the players, although the knocks are a bit harder, they do seem to enjoy playing on good ground. And well, I mean, that kick's just an example. He put a fair bit of kick behind it. As soon as it hit the ground, it just stuck. It's like glue. And I know a lot of fans won't come to see the Robins while the pitch is in this state, because they can just go and watch an amateur game on any park and see players trundling through mud. When the ground's good, I think that's when we'll see the likes of Tarfai and Murdoch, Jimmy Walker, players like these really producing the top form.
Yeah, it's a good, well, it's an half break there by Rovers, and suddenly Featherstone stepped off for the last tackle, and it's off to Tarfai yet again, and he's going for the same kick, but it's a little bit, they've got to put a lot of pressure under, and the Featherstone players are pushing Latham Gray, and has to push it dead. Fantastic kick once against Bar Latham.
Yeah, great kick from Tarfai, but I mean, Alistair McLaren, he's got to go through mud and water and snow, but he still flies, doesn't he? The guy's unbelievable. I mean, my only regret is we didn't sign him 10 years ago when he was 19, because I believe he's about 29 now, but there's not many quicker 29-year-olds about.
Well, no, he's come on a lot, hasn't he, since his Driffield days. I know he was an hard player to stop there, played against him once or twice, and he's always been a hard player to stop, and his brother is also supposed to be just as good, but looks to be much movement towards getting him. Anyway, once again we're somebody's on report here.
Yeah, the referee's actually putting John Aston on report for the way he charged in with the ball there. I don't know if he's saying that he had a raised elbow or forearm, but Rovers was in possession, first to second tackle, and Johnny Aston's been, well, you can see by John's face that he thinks it's a total joke, but that one's going to go to the committee. Well, he's saying that he actually went in with a raised knee, which, well, Simon.
Well, I ain't 100% sure about that, because I know there's elbows, but a raised knee is that you talk about railroad rules there. I know players you're taught in rugby as a forward to go with your knees raised and take them up. So whether he's saying he's purposely aimed his knee at a player's head, I don't know. But I think the referee, being young and experienced, has maybe got that one wrong.
Featherstone now 16 points behind on the scoreboard. Only 9 minutes of the game left, so it's difficult to see them getting back into the game, but they'll be wanting to go back to Yorkshire with at least 6 points on the board, but with tackling like that, they've got absolutely no chance. Well, where? East Yorkshire?
Go back to Yorkshire.
It's all coal mines and sheep where they live. Kick comes in. Michael's got his eyes on it, and that's good full-back play from Michael. Judged the flight of the ball, collected safely, and just ran the ball out.
Yeah, this opportunity as well. I would say a break of play, but to say hello to Mr. Uki, I would just talk to it down in the bar from the website. I know he's a regular user and he bars all the videos.
Yeah, you'll keep supporting the Robins, Colin. You're your number one fan in my eyes, mate. Jimmy Walker runs the ball. Well, Jimmy Walker raised the knee then, and so that just shows you the fine line of where the decision that went against Johnny Aston. Richard Wilson now, good solid tackle by Dickens from Featherstone, stopped Rich Wilson dead on the halfway line. This man Tarfai, once again he has to cop a bit of a late one, but he's got the ball away, and well, he's a tough cookie. He was straight back up, and look at that defence. Well, the ball was released, it's gone to ground. Craig Farrell brings in Ali McLaren is going for the lane, he's going to make it, it's a try, Ali McLaren. He was held about a metre short, he stretched out the arm, and he's deserved that as Alistair McLaren. It was good play from, first of all, Rovers defence forcing the error. Craig Farrell with good sense of play, and a great finish by Ali McLaren.
Yeah, fantastic play there. Picked the ball up, fantastic tackle, knocked the ball out, so put his hand over, 1-on-1, get the ball out, went back towards Rovers, picked it up, got it out to McLaren. McLaren still had 2 players to beat, showed him the outside, the ball fell for the dummy, come inside, went through 2 players, used his speed to take his momentum straight over, nobody could stop, and he went over about 15 yards to the left of the upright, leaving a difficult kick for well, it was kicking there. LA from Tarfai kicking from here. It's just outside of the bog that's in the middle of the pitch. So it was a great, fantastic bit of play there. And Rovers in the end now look at giving Featherstone a bit of a pasting. They're not quite sure how to deal with these conditions. The kicking game's been right. Anyway, I'll pass back over to Rob Chad.
Yeah, just look at the close-up on this picture, and away from Tarfai, he's absolutely kicked, head to toe in mud, he can hardly move, and he's got to try and attempt a conversion. And all credit to these players in these conditions. It's been good entertainment. Well, That just shows you. That just shows you the difficulty. We're not going to take the mickey out of that one too much, shall we say?
No, we aren't. No, we'll let him off with that one. He's had a good game, hasn't he? And anyway, it's getting up to half past the hour. When you're looking at who you're gonna pick for man of the match here, I'd start going for Johnny Aston myself, mate.
Yeah, and just gone to the east stand there, and the sun's actually shining now.
Red hot man of the match, chosen by Keith Broadbent of East Yorkshire Coaches, is awarded to Hull Rovers, number 12, John Aston.
Johnny Aston's been voted man of the match for the Robins, and well deserved. It was probably pushed all the way by Latham Tarfai, but there's actually sunshine here at Craven Park now. We've had rain, we've had hailstone, we've had sleet, we've had snow, and now it's sunny. I despair.
I tell you what, it ain't sunny this bloody stand though, is it, mate? I mean, to say me round objects are nearly falling off is understatement. Anyway, it'd be nice to see all those A-standers warming up. Spare thought for us up in the higher echelons here. Anyway, it's Rovers once again looking to really put this victory to bed. 20 points to nil, once against the nil side. It's just showing the power of this defence. I don't know how it's going to act on top of the ground, but certainly on our own, we're going to make it a bit of a fortress.
Yeah, Rovers juggling with the ball there, but there's only 20 metres out. I think Tarfai took a bit of a knock there. Kick through, there's a chance now, there's a chaser. Kick dead there by, I think it was the 14, Danny Patrickson for Featherstone Rovers, and well, we're only about 3 minutes of the game remaining, about 77 minutes played here at Craven Park, and Rovers they're going to finish the game, as Simon said, nilling this Featherstone Rovers side, and with a chance to add another 4 or 6 points here. That man again, John Aston, taking the game to the Featherstone defence. Big Adam Sullivan, he's been solid, if not spectacular. Got through his graft, as has Richard Wilson, Andy Smith. And they're bringing the old guy on for the last couple of minutes, Paul Fletcher. Oh, and look at that for a break from Rich Wilson. And he slid about 8 yards. Chance now for Rovers. It's with Tarfai. That looks as though it's Parker. Adam Sullivan shrugs one man off, brings in Craig Farrell. Craig Farrell's jinking, ducks. Well, the gap opened up, but Featherstone bring him down. He's slung the ball out. It's still with the Robins. And both sets of players they're tired now because, well, there was a punch thrown then by Featherstone by the looks of it. The referee straight on top. And there's a chance for Rovers, and that stood with a try, but he's given knock on. It's a knock on. I think it's gone against Jimmy Walker. Indeed, it is Jimmy Walker.
Substitution for Peter Rovers, number 17, Paul Fletcher.
Chapman was in there, last-ditch defence for Featherstone. Scrum down, Featherstone head and feed in the danger zone, but they should get possession from this scrum barring a disaster. And your overall thoughts on the performance of Hull Kingston today, Simon?
Yeah, I mean, I think you could certainly say they made the most of the conditions, but Rovers.
Yeah, the ball's gone loose from Featherstone. I'll bring you back in a moment, Simon, because there was a chance there for the final try of the game for Rovers. Featherstone spilling the ball on the first tackle. There's a bit of pushing and shoving going on. Andy Smith's in there, having 1 or 2 words with the Featherstone players. Still going on. The referee's standing in front of Andy Smith, just separating them. And, well, there's no real need for it 2 minutes from the end of the game, is there? The referee's going to call Andy Smith over.
Yeah, I just think it's a bit of frustration by Featherstone. I mean, they've come here, they've probably expected a lot. They've got a new side together, they've been pumped up all summer, all close season, and they've been nilled, haven't they? So it's, yeah.
Yeah, so how do you think Rovers have played today then, Si, just to finish your comments off from earlier?
I think they played very well, actually. They've tried to make the most of the conditions. They've got used to these conditions. Done some good kicking game. Made Featherstone constantly play out their own half, realising they ain't got any pace. and tried to use the wings, the apparent pace that Rovers have got, to make some breaks down the left and right wings, and they've certainly been favoured by a fantastic performance in the form of John Aston, who's made breaks all match and really got stuck in there. But other noticeable great performances have been from the whole of the pack: Andy Smith, Rich Wilson, Jamie Boville, Pickering, the lot.
Yeah, we're in the final seconds now at Craven Park. The hooter should go any time, and even though we're in the final seconds, Rovers are still swarming all over Featherstone, and what professionalism, what attitude, it's absolutely fantastic. And there's another knock on, and it's been forced by Rovers defence. Ian Brown didn't know what to do, he just dropped the ball. And we mentioned getting Salford here while the pitch is bad. Bring Salford here anyhow, because we'll give them a game. And the final hooter has gone, and 3 tries, 4 goals, 20 points to Hull Kingston Rovers. And Featherstone Rovers, who are a decent side, have been nilled here at Craven Park.
Yeah, I think you've got to be happy with this result. I mean, I don't think Stephen O'Neill would have thought that he could play this Featherstone side here and nil them and score 20 points in these conditions, particularly after what we've seen in the last few matches. But we've done it, produced a good performance. It's a solid defence that is really, this is the backbone to the old side, kicking deep, a solid defence and using the pace after that to score some great tries.
Yeah, we'll see you all at Rochdale next week for the Challenge Cup here at Craven Park in the Arriva Trains Eastern Group qualifier.